Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of the DAN Show, and welcome to my breakdown of the New England Patriots. Now, if you're new to my channel, I've got one simple question to ask you. Do you want to talk football? Because if so, you're in the right place. There's this button right around here. See it, see it, see it. Bam! Hit that button. Become one of the greatest people on planet Earth. Now, here's how my breakdown video is going to go. I'm going to talk about what I like about the New England Patriots. Then I'm going to talk about what I don't like about the Patriots, but stick around to the very end where I break down the Vegas over-under and if I am going to put action down on the New England Patriots. So, hey, let's kick this off with what I like about the Patriots. The number one thing I like about the New England Patriots is this defense. For those of you who remember Week 7 on Monday Night Football, the Jets went to New England and they played in the famous I'm seeing ghosts game. Actually, the game was in New York. My mistake. But Darnold was caught on a Monday Night Football microphone saying, "I'm seeing ghosts out there." And that was the 7th game of the season. Up to that point, because that game ended up being a shutout, the first 7 games, Patriots gave up 48 points. That's less than a touchdown a game. And then the next game, when they started season 8-0, they gave up 13 points. So it boosted that total up to 61, which is 7.625 a game. Halfway through the NFL season, the Patriots gave up 61 points and just under 8 points a game. That's an all-time great defense. So they gave up 14.1 points the whole season. Number one scoring defense, arguably the best defense in football. I think they're the best defense in football, and I think going into 2020, the Patriots, the number one thing you have to look at when you look at New England Patriots is they have the best defense in football. And a thing that I like that the Patriots did was that they added to their defense, which goes to the second thing that I like about the Patriots is the draft. They traded their first round pick for a second and a third, and this is going to come in really handy because both the second and third round players are going to contribute this year. You get Kyle Duggar. Now, I'm going to be very clear. I don't like the New England Patriots draft for everybody. I give the Patriots a B+ because this is a B+ draft for the Patriots. If you took a team like the New York Jets or the Cincinnati Bengals, I would have given this same exact draft a C+. But because Bill Belichick has had success with players that have these type of attributes, I give them a higher grade. Like Kyle Duggar, a small safety who's a big, fast, athletic playmaker, he'll have more success in the Patriots system. Josh Uche, a player who played in a joker position at Michigan, which is a positionless player in the NFL, I'm going to give that a better grade to the New England Patriots than I would for another team. Chase Winovich, his teammate at Michigan, played in a similar position, was a quote-unquote tweener. He had 5.5 sacks last year. He was highly productive on this Patriots team. So drafting, one of his teammates, putting them together in the front 7, kind of moving them around the different positions, it's a lot more effective here in New England than it would be for another team. Anthony Jennings, a former Alabama player. Alabama players always perform better in New England. For those of you that don't know, Nick Saban was Bill Belichick's defensive coordinator in Cincinnati, and I think he was the linebackers coach when they were together in New York, but Saban and Belichick go way back to the 80s. So any Alabama player is always going to do better in New England than he might do at a different NFL team. Both tight ends, again, I wouldn't like these tight ends for everybody, but for New England it works. Simple fact that you lacked production from the tight end position, so 2 picks in the 3rd round go for tight ends. Ossie for UCLA. For those of you who don't know, Chip Kelly, Bill Belichick, again, have a good relationship. So a Chip Kelly player going to New England would get a higher draft grade from me than if you went to another team. But here's a guy who's fast, athletic, little raw. That's perfect for New England. The other tight end they got out of Virginia Tech. I think I saw a lot of 5th, 6th round grades, but for New England, I like it because he's athletic and has potential. The Patriots will find a way to get a production out of these players. Then the 5th round pick, the place kicker, he's your starting place kicker. So Another thing about the Patriots draft is that they picked up Tom Brady in the 6th round. They got 3 6th-round draft picks. I'm not going to go into detail of all three of these guys, but it wouldn't surprise me if these guys made the team and had an impact. So bottom line, you found Tom Brady in the 6th round. So anytime the Patriots make a 6th-round pick, it's probably better than the average team making a 6th-round pick. Third thing I like about the Patriots, and I kind of alluded to this already because you got added production to the tight end position, is I like the wide receiver core. Now, keep in mind with the added production from the tight ends, your receivers are going to be better. But first-round pick, N'Keal Harry, he's going to be healthy. I love N'Keal Harry coming out of college. For those of you who don't know, he was going into the season with Arizona State as a top 5 player. And I remember getting on social media and joking, how much will Herm Edwards' offense kill this kid? Well, they ended up going in later in the first round. He wasn't a top 5 pick, but kudos to Herm Edwards. The last 2 years, he's had a wide receiver go in the first round of the NFL draft. So he's doing something really right at Arizona State. But I think N'Keal Harry, this is a guy I had a major draft crush on. I think he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver for the Patriots, knock on wood, barring health. And then you get Mohamed Sanu. He came over in a midseason trade. He's going to be with the team the whole offseason. This is a great number 2 receiver, a big-bodied wide receiver who can block. You can use him in a variety of different ways. And with the additional production from the tight end group, you take you take Julian Edelman. He's now your number 3 receiver. You can move him all over. You can put him in the backfield. You can put him in the slot. You can put him outside. He becomes a variable rather than, if he's your number 1 receiver, you're in a world of hurt. But this year he's going to be the number 3 option, and you have to pay attention to tight end position plus these 2 receivers on the outside, so you can get very creative with Julian Edelman. So that adds additional problems. Also, he did opt out yesterday, but Marquise Lee was a guy I absolutely loved out of USC. His pro career hasn't gotten on track, but here's a guy who's talented. And with this team, I think he could have an impact. But as of yesterday, he opted out. I'm going to bring him up because if he does come back or, circumstances change in the NFL, this is a guy I would really want to watch. Fourth and final thing is the Patriots way. How they have built this organization. They've constantly jettisoned out really, really good football players that were Pro Bowl caliber players. They move them for draft picks or just don't sign them in free agency. They replace them with younger players. They get players off the scrap heap to end up being Pro Bowl caliber players. Bottom line, they've been doing this for 20 years and it's been highly successful. Positionless players out of college, like a lot of the players I just mentioned, end up having Pro Bowl careers. Players that are Pro Bowl caliber players, they move and just replace them. The machine just keeps on rolling. This has been the most dominant organization over the last 20 years, maybe the best 20-year run of any organization in the National Football League of any time. I was thinking maybe the Raiders from the mid 60s to the mid 80s might be close, but the Super Bowl production from the Patriots trumps that. So, easily. And Bill Belichick, for my money, is the greatest football coach in the history of the NFL. So, just to recap the 4 things I love about the Patriots. Great D. I think going into the offseason or going into the 2020 season, the best defense in the National Football League. A really good draft. I like the wide receiver core. You get N'Keal Harry and Sanu full offseason. Hopefully N'Keal Harry stays healthy the whole year. He's going to be a really good player. Fantasy football tip, take N'Keal Harry early. And then finally, the Patriots way, the way they've had the organization, and Bill Belichick, the greatest football coach of all time. Now, let's talk about what I don't like about the New England Patriots. Let's start with the very, very obvious thing I don't like is you lose Brady. This is arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. Now, I will say I thought his play did go down. He looked older. He lacked some zip on the football. I still think he's one of the best quarterbacks in football, but he definitely was missing something last year. Now part of it was some of the things out of his control, but here you are, you're playing with the best defense in the National Football League. You don't have to put up video game numbers. You just got to be good. And I mean, he still played okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying Tom Brady sucked or anything like that. But bottom line, I understood why Brady had to leave. But losing Brady is going to hurt in a lot of ways for the New England Patriots. And to sit here and say that, yeah, maybe it was a good time for him to leave and everything, but ultimately, it's going to hurt. Second thing I don't like about the Patriots is I made a video 2019 breakdown of the Patriots. I'm going to put a link below. So check out the description if you want to see my 2019 breakdown of the Patriots. But I said that I think the dynasty is over. It's kind of ironic because I think it started and ended with the victories over the Rams in the Super Bowl. And all dynasties come to an end. I mean, all the greatest dynasties, the Packers, Steelers, 49ers, Cowboys. This dynasty has lasted 2 decades, but it is at an end. Bottom line, Father Time's undefeated, and it counts for dynasties, not just players. Am I telling you the Patriots aren't going to be a good team? No, I'm not saying that at all. I think the time of the Patriots going to an AFC championship every year and going to a Super Bowl, I think those days are over. Now, will they get back to a championship game or Super Bowl? Yes, but I think that this dynasty has run its course. 20 years of greatness. There's nothing to be ashamed about. It's been 20 great years for Patriots fans, but like I said last year, the dynasty is over. Third and final thing I don't like about the Patriots is of all the teams that have been affected, the Patriots I think have been hit the hardest. They had, as of today, 8 players opting out, but starters, right tackle Marcus Cannon, safety Patrick Chung. But out of all the players, I think the best and most important is Dante Hightower. And the reason why Hightower, now, if you want to argue is he the best player to opt out, that's debatable. I think he is, but he's definitely the most important because in free agency, and the Patriots have done this before, where Kyle Van Noy and Jamie Collins leave. That's fine because you're replacing him with Anthony Jennings and Josh Uche. You're kind of using positionless players for positionless players, and this works because you have Dante Hightower. Dante Hightower also went to Alabama. Anthony Jennings, an Alabama alum. So I think that these two would bond, knowing that they both played for Saban and the expectations of what's expected from you, I think means a lot. But losing Hightower, this is a guy who is going to be the glue to keep this defense together. You take Hightower out, this hurts a lot. Now, keep in mind the Patriots are used to losing some players, but they've always kept players behind. It wasn't like they jettisoned out 11 players, brought in 11 back. They always lose a couple players, but then they add components around the players that they have left. Bottom line, they were counting on Dante Hightower. With him leaving, that's a huge void that really they were not planning on. Now, if they were, they may have drafted differently. They may have attacked free agency differently, but Dante Hightower, I think, is of all the players that have left or have opted out, Dante Hightower is the number one player that I think really hurts your team. Now, do I think that this is going to be a bad defense? No, it's still going to be, I can argue this is still the best defense in the National Football League, but losing Dante Hightower is tough. So just to recap, the 3 things that I don't like about the Patriots is the loss of Brady. All dynasties come to an end. Father Time's undefeated. And of all the teams that have had players opt out, as of right now, I think the Patriots have been hit the hardest. And Dante Hightower, I think, is the best player and the most important player to opt out. I think he's going to have the largest effect. So, hey, what did I say? Stick around to the very end where I talk about the Vegas over-under. And if I'm going to put action down on the Patriots, here's the drill. Due to all the COVID signings, these are all kind of fluid. So I think more and more of these lines may be taken off the books. As of right now, William Hill Casino does not have an over-under on the Patriots. I I used to use the Westgate app, but since I'm not going to Vegas, I haven't reactivated it. I actually tried. I have to get a hold of Westgate, reset my password. Anyway, long short of it is that you may be able to find over-unders, but as of right now, it's shut off. But as of May 1st, the over-under was a surprising number. It was 9. And over was actually 105 plus 105, which means that a $100 wager would win you 105. The under was negative 125, which means that if you thought the Patriots are going to win less than 9 games, you have to wager $125 to win 100. This was May 1st. Because the over was at a positive and the under was a negative, people were really high on the under, which floored me because the last time Tom Brady wasn't a Patriot, they went 11-5. So my guess is that there will be a line on the Patriots, and I'm thinking it's going to stay at 9. Now, is there a chance it drops down to 8.5? There's definitely a possibility. I'm going to keep you guys updated, but as of May 1st, the over-under was 9, and this is a team you definitely want to put action on because take the over. All right, this is a 12-win team that did lose some players, but are they better than a 9-win team? Absolutely. Bonus pick, and I didn't look up the numbers. I probably should have. I'm gonna do another video, and I'm gonna talk about this later. The Patriots are still my favorite to win the AFC East. Now, do I think they're a Super Bowl contender? Do I think they make the AFC Championship game? No, I do not. Bills fans, I'm sorry, but I have the Patriots winning the division still. So listen, hey, I know Patriots fans, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. For those of you Bills fans that are watching, give me a thumbs up anyway. But hey, share this video with your friends. If you have a question or comment, drop it below. You can always email me at thedanshow@yahoo.com. Enjoy the video. Tomorrow, I'm going to break down the New Orleans Saints. So hey, have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.